Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. We're going to get into today's show. I'm your host, Amala Epinovi, and alongside me, we have Taylor in Nashville.
Happy Friday, guys. How y'all doing?
Woo! Sorry to keep you waiting, ladies and gentlemen. Let me explain. We had some technical difficulties trying to get into today's show today, so me and Taylor are hustling behind the scenes because we're like, we are not going to leave you guys hanging. We have a piece of equipment that continuously overheats, so now, you know, I'm treating it like a sick child. I've got ice packs on it and a little fan blowing, so if you hear the fan in the background, just know that is what is bringing you your show today. Now,
And also, if we drop off suddenly, that's what happened. At least you know.
Exactly. If all of a sudden you don't hear from me anymore or the screen goes black, just know that it is technical difficulties that are, you know, terrorizing our lives right now. So we're going to have a fun Friday. Happy Friday to you guys. I hope you've had a fantastic week. Let me know what your weekend plans are down in the chat below. I'm probably going to go dancing with my best friend, Risa. You know, we like to go out on the town on Saturday nights. So that's what we'll be doing. Taylor, any plans this weekend?
I'm going to Knoxville to see my wife's parents who don't live there, but they're visiting there, and hang out with my 2-year-old nephew. So pretty exciting stuff.
Very, very
Not
fun.
exactly hitting the town and dancing. But, you know.
Today we want to do something fun with the stream. It's going to be a choose your adventure stream or a you choose I react stream. I asked you guys on community notes or on the community tab of my channel, do you guys want me to react to a video about Gen Z hating America, or do you want me to react to 6 bodybuilders and deciding who's natty and who's not? You guys voted, why does Gen Z hate America? So we're going to start there. But throughout the show, we'll be doing little polls down below where you can choose which video we go to next. If you get bored, you want to move on, you let me know and we will do so. So first we're going to start out with a video posted by Jen titled, Why Does Gen Z Hate America? Now I see this guy all over YouTube. He does little like man on the street videos that he mixes in as sort of a video essayist, I would say. So today we're going to watch this one and see how we feel about it. Let's get into it.
What do you think are the biggest American problems?
Systemic racism.
Obesity.
I believe Americans export their problems.
I think the educational system is a big problem.
Do you think the American dream is still alive?
Not sure.
It has to be a joke, right?
This is the biggest lie ever. The American dream is dying.
I love how dude is just like chiefing a cigarette right into his mic. I'll be like, bro, can the Nick addiction wait just a second?
Today I'm out here and the question I'll be asking is, do you like America?
I wouldn't holistically say that I love the US, but plenty of great people.
It's a messed up country, but they have good pillars in the way of their thinking and what they believe in.
Yeah, America's cool. About everything I'm experiencing now, America is very uncool.
America used to be a leader as a country. I don't think we're reaching our potential, and I think the divisiveness in this country is going to lead to many issues if it's not addressed.
Let's pause there. Do you guys like America? Maybe we can ask you in a poll down below. You guys can answer that question. I'm going to say yes. Of course, you all know I'm going to say yes. I love the opportunities that are awarded in this country and just all the different possibilities that you have. It's why people are clamoring to get into this country. Does that mean this country has no issues? Absolutely not. It doesn't mean that. It just means that even with the issues that we experience in this country, and as she points out, the divisiveness that is in this country right now, I still feel like there is way more benefit than the opposite of that, you know? And even with the problems and the divisiveness that we experience and the back and forth we have on political issues or the government or cultural and social issues, all of that is possible because we live in America and because we get to exercise our free speech and go back and forth with one another and have these debates. And I think Americans are so obsessed with the idea of progress and making this country better, although we view those two things in very different ways. But that's why we have such divisiveness. Everybody kind of wants to do the right thing and put the country on the right track. So these are symptoms of, in my opinion, a pretty good disease to be constantly worried about, you know, what is best for your country and for your people. Taylor, I'm assuming you're going to say you like America as well.
I do. I mean, I can't say anything else. I mean, obviously, there's plenty of issues that we face in this country. There's lots of ways in which we fail to live up to the founding ideals, and a lot of division, a lot of economic mismanagement, shall we say. But for all its flaws, I think it is still the greatest country on earth. And there's a reason why so many people come here from all over the world to try to make it and to adopt the ideals and try to live out their American dream. And we'll get into more about whether the American dream is dead in this video. But yeah, it looks like you guys are mostly in agreement. 83% say that they like America, and 17% say no.
Yeah,
So.
I just had somebody in my life who got American citizenship recently, and went to the office, took the American citizenship test, all that fun stuff. And for me, it was just like a moment of reflection on how unique it is and how wonderful it is to actually be an American. It was a reflection on this nation's history, and we went through like the 100 citizenship questions that you have to like study up before you go into, and luckily I knew a lot of them just from my schooling in this country, and we really focus on a lot of the subject matters that are covered in your citizenship test. But it's just an interesting reminder to like think about the people who came before us, think about those who built this country, what it is they had to go through, just the long-standing history that sits on this land. And that was just a very cool moment to watch somebody go through the process and look at it from the perspective of never having to have gone through that process, just being born here and being lucky enough to be a citizen in this country. So that was cool. Let's continue watching.
I've been there in West Virginia. That's where I was born. It's a little bit weird for a black person like me. West Virginia, it's a little bit racist, but
I lived in the States for like 7 years of my life. I met some great people. It's just the violence that I don't like about the States.
Government, no, but country and people itself, I don't have a problem.
Like, what about like the politics that you don't like about?
Invading everywhere.
And in the world we live in today, I would rather be franked by Americans than another superpower.
Sure, it has its problems politically, but as like a place, most people, the vast majority of the general public is fine.
Recently, there's been a poll in America where they said that only 16% of Gen Z are proud to be American. Why do you think this is?
Inability to afford an apartment, student loan. There's so many reasons that they took. They're kids. What the do they know?
The American dream is dying. No one is believing it anymore.
The Gen Z generation is, in a way, in a unique spot. You have, I think, a lot more extreme opinions because it's very easy to manipulate opinions and kind of push your agenda.
Because
That's a good point there, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. We did get a $50 super chat, so I do have to read that immediately. We read those right off the bat. Moderate Thoughts says, the biggest problem is Americans are ungrateful for the contributions of the left and the right. Being grateful for the contributions of people with whom you disagree is a vital part of keeping society alive. I agree with you. I do think that is a big problem. I don't know how I would rank it on the list of all the other problems that we're dealing with as a country, but yeah, you have to be able to appreciate the work of people that you disagree with. And we view people in such a black and white way that I feel like it ruins that perspective largely. I think a lot of people come from the viewpoint of, if you fundamentally disagree with me on X, Y, and Z, you cannot contribute anything good to society. You can do nothing good. You are not a good person, and you're fundamentally morally flawed. And that's, of course, super wrong. There are plenty of leftists who I personally, in conversations, would not agree with on most of the things that they say or most of the beliefs behind their ideology. But that doesn't mean that they can't contribute to society or do really great things or be super helpful and be, contributors in our communities and things like that. So we have to always bear that in mind. It's so easy to place people in a camp and be like, those people are not good for society in any way, shape, or form. And we really have to fight that feeling. And I think it's a feeling that we all feel, although some of us are more extreme than others. And Gen Z now, I think, is often taught to view people that way. And that's why, they cut off friends with differing political opinions. They cut off family with differing political opinions. They say things like, I hate conservatives, or I hate this and that. And I think a lot of that changes with age. Like, as you grow up and you meet more people and you gain more life experience, you start to become more moderate in your takes and less extreme towards other people. So there's the factor of time, but there's also the factor of we are largely socializing them to behave in that way. So we'll see. We'll check back in on Gen Z in a few years. Oh, you're going to say something, too?
I'll just add, I had a tweet not too long ago, something like the conservatives kind of ask, what did our ancestors get right, and how can we preserve that and maybe build upon it? The liberal asks, what did our ancestors get wrong, and how can we improve upon that or correct those issues? And then the more ideological modern leftist, I guess not modern, but it's been a thing for as long as radical leftism has been around, but they ask, what did our ancestors do, just so I can stand and look at it from my utopian lens and judge it and destroy it and undo it and complain about how everything is not this perfect utopia that I envision, and compare everything that's been done before us to this utopia. And I think to this super chat's point is, you need a healthy society. You want to have some people of both of those healthy dynamics of, yes, we need to learn from our past. The others who are saying, yes, we need to improve upon it, and they didn't get everything right. And that's a healthy tension that you are going to be navigating as you progress through time. And that's a good thing to have. But when you have people who just do not share any appreciation for what's gone before us and don't share those kind of liberal democratic values that are a commitment to reasonable discussion and rationality and objective truth and things like that, then you're playing by a different set of rules. You're playing according to a utopian vision, and that's a destructive force, and it's not really going to help improve things or make that incremental progress that is part and parcel of the sort of democratic republic system that America is one of the great examples of.
Right. You need balance, guys. Balance is key. Everything in moderation. We're going to keep watching a little bit of this video, and soon we'll put a poll in the chat for you guys to vote on what we react to next.
Today, we have an abundance of information and a lack of nuance, where we oversimplify the good and exaggerate the bad. America was never great. Gen Z represents that paradox, open to diverse viewpoints and compromise in older Americans, yet at the same time, closed-minded in many ways.
I just kind of close myself off, and I stay friends with the people that respect my views.
But if this promised American dream is slowly fading, can we really blame Gen Z for their activism and resentment? And if there's no more trust, is America heading towards collapse? I guess we gon' see. What do you think are the biggest American problems?
Obesity. Populism around politics is a giant problem. I think the educational system is a big problem.
Systemic racism in our country.
Racism and sexism.
Legislation harming LGBTQ communities, trans individuals.
I would say,
I'm trying to think about this. Okay, so obviously, you know, I disagree on the systemic racism point. You know, I disagree on the sexism point. I think it's never been a better time to be me in this country. So I can't imagine that is one of the biggest battles that we're in right now as a nation. But the fact that she says LGBTQ stuff even just logically, let's break down the numbers on this. How many people in our population identify as LGBT? And she says specifically trans. I mean, we're talking about maybe a few percentage points with how much it's grown and how it's been socialized. So just statistically, that could not be the biggest problem that we are dealing with as a nation, because it has a very small proportion of people who would be affected by said legislation. So it just goes to show how easily influenced people are by, media and social media. And if you can inflate stories and push them enough so that you just have eyes on them, people will be convinced that they are, in fact, the biggest problems that are facing America, when just logically that could not be true.
Police brutality, and of course, racism.
If I had to
again, with police brutality, even if you view police brutality as a huge issue, statistically, it could not be the biggest problem that America is facing. It just could not be, with how many people are directly affected by police brutality.
Challenge you though, why do you think there's still more people moving to America than people leaving America?
Opportunities. They want a better life for their children. They want part of the American dream.
The American dream is obviously very much still alive.
Are you proud to be American?
I'm proud to be this American person.
How do you help the community?
Oh my God. I have protested everything. Guns and all the bills that they try to pass to remove rights from trans kids.
I believe Americans export their problems. Today you see it, that gender identity that is becoming a social issue. Export that.
People commonly say that America's biggest export is culture, but it's also their issues as well, it seems like.
You're damn right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we technically do. I feel like all the issues that America is the hotbed for, you just wait a little bit and they've transported over to, specifically Western Europe, and they just pick it up, and then it becomes an issue over there, and then it becomes an issue elsewhere, and it just speeds up because we are, you know, whether people like it or not, a huge cultural beacon in terms of, you know, world influence and the issues that take place, and specifically those issues that are covered by the media just sprout elsewhere. It's crazy because I've met people who, you know, reside in Europe, and they come to America for a trip or whatever. I remember specifically meeting these two young German women at a bar somewhere in Florida. And I started talking to them, and they're like these 5'4", super skinny, small, like beautiful blonde girls. I'm like, hey, what do you guys do back home? And they're like, we are in the police force. And they're police officers. These like 5'4" girls are police officers. I'm like, wow, you must deal with like very different issues when it comes to crime than we deal with here, because if you guys are police officers I would fear for your lives. And they're like, yeah, you know, it's not that bad, and we don't deal with much, and maybe they're in a specific sector of policing in Germany. But we started talking about what I do for a living, and I said, well, I do a podcast, and we talk, you know, a little bit of politics, but mostly culture. And they found out that I had some conservative leanings, and they said, oh, well, that doesn't make sense to us because that means that you like love Donald Trump and you hate black people. And it's because the news footage that they get that shows America is like CNN and ABC and MSNBC. So if that's what's filtered over to those countries, they have a very strange picture of what American politics looks like and what American discourse looks like. And that was the two things that they remembered, is that you must love Donald Trump and you must dislike black people. So it did not make sense to them that I could have conservative leanings. So if you think about how our issues are being exported, as this guy says, or what image of America people are getting, that is greatly concerning, considering it's coming largely from leftist media. Wild. Okay, guys, I'm going to put a poll in the chat down below about which video we move on to next. We could do a fun one. So we could do Cody takes over The Button. For those of you who don't know, The Button is a speed dating show where they try to find a match by the end of the video. So we could do that one, or we could react to Candace Owens talking about OnlyFans on the Whatever podcast. You guys vote down below, and I'll watch this video in the meantime while we decide where we're moving on to.
So what do you think are like the biggest problems in America?
Probably just like big corporations running everything.
Valid. I definitely think that capitalism and corporate greed and big businesses and institutions taking a lack of action to support our communities and the top 1%. Yeah, I'm a tax the rich, eat the rich girly, so.
Okay, well, that's interesting that you brought up big businesses, because I'm curious, which of the following companies has had a massive customer data leak? So Facebook, MasterCard, Twitch, or Comcast?
All of them. All of them.
Facebook.
For sure, MasterCard.
What if I told you that it's actually all four of these different companies?
I would believe that as well.
How does that make you feel?
Horrified.
A little.
It's so funny because the girl who was interviewed, she's saying like, you know, I think corporate greed is a big problem. I would agree with her on that. And then she goes on to say like, I'm a tax the rich, eat the rich type of girly, which, you know, you guys can view that as you view it. I think it's a very extreme position to take on the issue. But what it outlines to me is there is congruence between the left and the right. And if only we were able to set aside our differences to fight this singular battle, I mean, it would be unstoppable. It would be a wonderful thing if we got together and said, you know, I might not agree with you on everything, but I can certainly agree with you that like corporate greed and crony capitalism and corporations, you know, data mining and selling all of our, you know, information off and making us into these just like satiated consumers is a horrible thing, and we need to do something about it. If you got together and used your powers as one, we'd be unstoppable. But we're so busy, like, you know, arguing with each other over like gender and race, which are valid arguments and discussions to have. But since we're so busy with them, they're just taking all of our money and taking all of our data, and soon we're gonna be just little docile sheep for them to herd around. And that's sad that we can't, for just a moment, unite against this one thing. I'll let him finish talking, then we'll see the results of the poll.
Nervous.
Have you gotten a text like this before?
All the time. Scammers, right?
Yeah, so that's exactly right. Is that whenever a company gets hacked, data brokers
This
get
is an
access
ad.
to a lot of data and then they sell it to these.
Gosh. Okay, he's selling us something. We're gonna move on. Okay, what did you guys vote for? We got 400 votes. Looks like Candace on whatever. How did I know?
Predictable.
Okay, so we're gonna move
Montreal
on.
said you've already seen it, but
Hey, you
well,
haven't seen
Amala
us do
hasn't,
it.
So
I have not watched this. This is the impact of OnlyFans on women, and this is Candace Owens on the Whatever podcast. For those of you unfamiliar with the Whatever podcast, they bring on a bunch of women and a guy hosts it, and they talk about dating and OnlyFans and feminism and all these different things. So let's hear Candace Owens up against some modern women.
What are your thoughts on OnlyFans, sex work, and do you believe that a woman doing OnlyFans or porn might have an impact on her future romantic prospects? And if so, how and why?
Warning for sexual conversation, by the way. I don't know where this is going to go, but I imagine that some of these women are going to be OnlyFans models, I guess is what we're calling them.
I can repeat it. That was a lot, so let me know if you need me to repeat anything.
I talk about this extensively on my show. I mean, the truth is that if you are going to engage in sex work, you are going to probably make a lot of money, especially if you're young. You're on a very tight rope. As you get older, your value goes down, and men are going to want women that are younger and available to them. I'm talking about in terms of just making the person who will subscribe to your OnlyFans page. You know, obviously, women, you're declining as you age, and the truth is that high-value men don't want to date women that are sex workers or even women that aren't sex workers and lean into the whole talking about how sexy and are freely available on the internet for other men to see. What we're talking about is biological proclivity. What men are doing when they first say, this sounds amazing, to date a stripper or to date a prostitute or to date a sex worker, is there's this instinct to have sex. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to have sex all the time. But then when they realize that actually a form of wanting to be in a relationship is feeling that there's a mystery to a woman, that there's something that's yours, there's something that's sacred, there's something that's powerful and beautiful that just you share. And when they realize that they have to share that with other men, it completely diminishes the man. A recent cultural example of that, obviously, is what's happening with Nina Agdal. She's not a sex worker by any means. She just kind of said some sexy things on the internet about wanting cock and look at what...
Was not expecting that from Candace.
I'm quoting her directly, so this is purely academic. Purely academic, and look at what happened. You know, now Logan has become the laughing stock of other men as they piece together everything that she's ever said that's overtly sexual. And again, she's not a sex worker, but what happened is her value just completely plummeted because, they're this thing that men need to feel. And I don't want to say possession in a way that sounds bad, because it's not bad. It's actually really beautiful. And I'm lucky and fortunate that I get to experience that in my marriage, and it's something that women should strive toward.
Okay. Let's pause there for a second. Obviously, she's making extremely valid points. I stand by just about everything that she just said. On the Nina Agdal, Logan Paul thing, what is interesting to me, and I think a point that is missed, is I do hate that, this was supposed to be a fight between two men, and then Dylan Dennis decided to bring in, a woman and just start dogging on this girl for a battle that was supposed to be between two guys. Now, once we set that aside, the numbers were stark when it came to the Nina Agdal post and everything that he found on the internet. And I am curious to see how that affects their relationship in the long term. Maybe this is stuff that Logan already knew about, and he claims, she's already told me everything. I knew about her past, and you will find men that I think are accepting of that. I can't speak to the quality of those men, and how long it will last and how long that respect will last. I could see a man out of the gate meeting somebody who's like an OnlyFans creator or a Nina Agdal of sorts and going, whatever, she's still hot. I think she's funny. She's got a great personality. I still want to date her and I still want to be in a relationship with her. And they'll, venture out to have this relationship with an OnlyFans girl. And I think it will slowly wear away at you, and it will slowly become something that you can no longer ignore, especially if the OnlyFans girl is continuing her career, if we can call it that, whilst dating you. I just don't know how long it's going to last. I don't think it's setting you up for success in the long term. But if you are a guy who just wants like a trophy girlfriend who looks really hot and maybe has a pretty good personality, then that's fine. I just don't see a man lasting that long in that situation without it wearing on his ego and his masculinity. So, and that's the thing, because like a lot of these arguments that they get into with OnlyFans girls, they go, oh, you're never going to find a man. You're never going to have a boyfriend. And then the OnlyFans girl goes, oh, well, I have a boyfriend. I do have a man. So it is possible. Like there are men, and specifically men that have already had their brains tainted by pornography, that are totally okay with dating an OnlyFans girl. I just wonder how long that relationship lasts. Okay. Let's keep watching.
Women that make those exchanges in their youth, I think that's sad, and I do feel bad for Nina Agdal, is because she said a lot of those statements when she was really young. She's probably your age. And she had a camera and she said it, and it lives forever. Right. And now every man that she dates is going to say Dylan Danis has made her available to everyone. And I hope things work out between her and Logan, but if you don't think that that's going to impact Logan, or that it's not actively impacting him as a man, it is. So with women, it's a trade-off. First thing you said was, I make money. This is about money. It's about money, but when it comes down to marrying these women, men just don't want it.
And that's exactly why I said that in this industry, I'm single until I retire.
But it will still matter.
I don't plan on doing this or getting married or finding the love of my life until I retire, like truthfully. And then after
hope
that
you see what happens to Nina Agdal.
No. And then after that, I will be honest and truthful with the person that I will be getting married to or whatever, and it'll be up to him to accept that, right? So,
I'm just saying that men's natural proclivity is to not accept that because it brings them shame. Men are biologically proud creatures.
I understand, but not everybody can be like that.
No, I know. I'm not. I'm just telling you what is happening and why people are. I'm just talking about cultural events, the Nina Agdal thing, and if you look at people like Emily Ratajkowski, she's obviously hot, but this is a woman who's now trying to make divorce chic, and I think that the understanding is in Hollywood is, sleep with her and move on. She's not marriage material. Her husband, when he had her, cheated on her because they didn't have that thing. I feel like I've slept with the girl. I've seen her naked so many times, right? So there's nothing special about Sebastian Baer marrying her because we've all seen her naked. There's nothing sacred in that relationship. And I'm just speaking on telling you, this is why women struggle to get married when they've made themselves available on OnlyFans, because other men don't want to share. They don't want to share their wife.
Yeah, girl. The logic is not sound from the OnlyFans girl. I think we can just get that out of the way right now. You can stop OnlyFans like once you've found the man that you want to be with, or once you've decided, hey, I want to settle down. It doesn't erase what you've been doing for the past few years and what now lives on the internet, and what thousands of men have gotten access to. Especially, she's claiming she's doing this for money, which means that her stats on OnlyFans are probably much higher than the average individual, which means thousands of men have your pictures and have seen you. Now, this is not to say she will never find a man and never find a man who's going to want to marry her. The question then becomes, what kind of man wants to marry a woman who has done this historically and who has a past like this? Where do his values lie? What is he marrying you for? I think it's very hard to kind of divorce men from their sexuality, whether you like it or not. It's a very important part of relationships for men. And a man who's going to marry an OnlyFans girl, I think has got to be a very specific kind of man. And it's probably bound with a lot of other baggage that you may or may not know about him. So I'm curious to see how it works out for her. Again, it doesn't mean her chances are done with, that she's not going to find a guy. Just wondering what type of guy that is, who is exactly going to do that. But I digress.
They maybe will share their girlfriend. They might think it's fun to date a stripper for a little bit. They might think, oh, this means I'm going to have sex 12 times a day. But then when it gets down to just their biological instinct, it's actually quite embarrassing for them as a man, because they can look up your girl and here she is, So that's what I think is happening.
Yeah, I'm just curious about your opinion on this, because I've seen like a couple of people in like Red Pill spaces, like Tates or people similar to that, talking about how they should marry a young woman would you agree or disagree that that might not be the most like rational course of action?
To marry a young woman? What do you mean by
Yes. That I hear a lot of men talk about how a woman inherently loses value as she gets older, and that's why that they should seek out young women.
Well, I live in the South, and a lot of people get married young, and I think it's really beautiful and wonderful. They preserve this sort of innocence. I have people that work for me that want to get married at 22. They drop out of school. So I don't think there's anything wrong with marrying when you're young. I'd have to see the full context of what they're talking about, because I do think, obviously, the longer you wait, and especially in this society that's creating this simulation that sexuality equates to freedom when it doesn't, that what he might be suggesting is that the longer a woman runs free, the more partners that she's gathering, and her worth is being diminished. And I think that there is some veracity to that. But, you know, if it's said in a way that sounds a little crass, like seek out younger women because they're not as used, and I can see why people would be offended by it, but that might be underpinned by a little bit of logic. So I'd have to see the clip in its entirety.
Yeah, the reason why I'm asking is because in general, I think men do have a biological proclivity. I can't pronounce that word. Proclivity. You know, to seek out like youth and beauty. But I also think when it comes to like settle down, you want a mother who's going to be responsible and good towards her children. So I think the idea that like men seek out beauty is true, but I also think men seek out a level of like responsibility and maturity that only comes with age. So I was just curious because of...
It's just not true. I at least not in my experience from what I see. Like, I get what she's saying, right? And I'll tell you immediately, I do take issue with these, like, you know, 30-something red pill guys who are like, I love an 18-year-old. I love a 19-year-old. Like, they're so moldable. They listen to everything you say or whatever. That's clearly a very different viewpoint on relationships, where it becomes a unbalanced power dynamic. But the ones who are saying, you know, I don't want a girl who's like been around the block, and you know, youthful women have far less like hardcore barriers. They're a little less set in their ways, not from a perspective of manipulation, but just from a perspective of growth. I can completely understand that. And I think that's what Candace was speaking to. So that is totally valid, and I understand that in men. Now she says like there's a sort of respect and, you know, wisdom that only comes with age, as far as like being a good mother and taking care of children, and that's not necessarily true. If you like think about it, women are biologically driven to like nurture and care. Now, does wisdom come with age? 100%. I agree with that. I believe in that. But I don't think the average guy is like, I should wait 10 more years for her to get some wisdom and for her to see the world a little bit more before I, you know, get engaged to her, or before we have children. And you can gauge whether or not that's right or wrong. But I think if you have a caring, youthful, intelligent young woman who, you know, is willing to like listen and take on a feminine role, men are going to flock to that before they go to the 32-year-old who's career accomplished and is hard set in her ways but has wisdom. You know, I don't think that's what men are looking for. And if you gave them those two options, I by and large think they're going to go for the younger woman. That's just my beliefs. We did get another $50 super chat, so we got to read that immediately. It says, from Moderate Thoughts, I dated an OF model. She shotgunned me some smoke claiming it was weed. I don't know what that means. But it was laced with fentanyl. That's fun. Sounds like you had a good night that night. I was high for 24 hours. It took 4 days to recover my cognitive abilities. That was scary as hell. I survived poisoning by an OF model. Yay. Well, at least you have a story for parties now.
And you live to tell it, thankfully. Yeah. Like, I think
tale.
is shotgunning like when they inhale it and then blow it into your mouth or something?
Maybe. You guys can
let us know in the
fact check that in the chat down below.
Can't speak from experience on that one.
I know. I have no idea what that is. But yeah, that sounds horrible. You have to wonder too, like, if you're into OnlyFans and you're a consistent creator on that platform, like, what else are you getting into in life? I don't think that these spaces are like particularly wholesome. I think they're like partying, they're drinking, they're doing drugs, they're doing a ton of other things that coincide with OF modeling. So it's just a recipe for disaster, in my
and
humble
especially
opinion.
if you're saying that like 10 years of me living my good years in my 20s being on OnlyFans and hooking up with guys and partying and stuff, like I don't understand how that would qualify you to be more, be ready for a relationship, like I think a guy would still prefer, especially if they're saying like that would help them be qualified for motherhood or to be raising kids. So for a man who wants that, wants someone older, like I think a man would still prefer someone who's younger, who doesn't have all that baggage, and your 10 years that you've gained of doing those activities isn't really elevating you above someone who hasn't been through all that and just happens to be younger.
Yeah. It's just not a good argument. It simply isn't. We're gonna put another poll in the chat to see if you guys want us to move on. Should we continue with Candace talking OnlyFans on whatever podcast, or should we move on to the button? You guys vote down below. In the meantime, we're gonna keep watching.
Should I put the Natty versus Lord's bodybuilders?
Yeah, throw that
too?
on there too. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do that. Or you guys can vote the natural versus steroid bodybuilders. We got another $50 super chat, I think. Oh no, it disappeared. I think she forgot to put her message. So we'll get back to that. Let's continue watching.
The other stuff I've heard from people.
And also, it's like sex is just sex. Like it's just sex. And
just
when you have a partner, you have an emotional connection with them. And so, like the guy on your last podcast, he was on here a few days ago. He was saying how like for men, sex is just sex, but like spending time with a woman and like buying her things and like going on trips with her is like different than having sex with just random people. And that's why they were like in an open relationship or whatever.
Can I just have you scoot your mic that way a little bit? Yeah, perfect.
What's she saying?
I mean, I definitely wouldn't say that like swapping DNA is like just sex. I mean, a man leaves a piece of himself inside of you.
But man, that's the way they think. And like for women, we get attached to them emotionally, having sex with them.
Which is why they get attached. It's more of a, when women have a lot of partners, it is different. It is worse in a way, and people don't want to admit that. But because we are more emotional, there is an attachment. It isn't just sex for women. I think women are damaged by those relationships. Women like to think, because of the social simulation, that it can just be sex, it's whatever. Non-committal, the only people that benefit from that lie are men. It is not great to have sex and have a man not call you back. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't matter if a BuzzFeed article says it does. I had a wonderful weekend and this is why I had sex and didn't worry about it. You feel used, and especially I would say if you're not a sex worker and a man does that and never calls you back, and you don't even have money to show for it. I think it diminishes your self-worth even more than your worth to a man.
The reason why I say sex is just sex is because in our line of work, we see it as transactional, right? Especially when we're working. And then at the end of the day, they go home to their wives or whatever, right? And it's like you're emotionally being there for them and taking care of them and doing all this, that, or the other.
So then sex clearly isn't just sex. It's also emotional. It can be.
Yes. It can be, yes. But I was saying, according to the guy that he had on the last podcast, he said that for men, sex is just sex.
Well,
and that
I can't tell what argument she's trying to make here. We're going to keep watching.
I disagree with the idea that sex doesn't harm, or casual sex wouldn't harm a man or does harm women, or that sex is just sex. I think a lot of people tell themselves that, but I think it can like lead to a lifestyle of just like pure hedonism, whether you're like a man or a woman, and that can be like dangerous because then you're losing, sight of other things that you value or other aspects of life. So I don't really think like, I think for some people that can be true, but I think for the majority of people, like there's a reason why a lot of people are only into monogamy, or why that's been like the norm for a lot of cultures. And I think most people are a little bit hardwired to kind of seek out those intimate relationships.
Well, yeah, I want to check in with the Orange Girl in like 5 years and see where she's at in life. And there's a ton of different things. Okay, like where are you at with how many like sexual partners you've had? Where are you at with your relationship with your body? Because if you view sex and your OnlyFans content as purely transactional, I think over time that starts to devalue the relationship that you have with your body, and your body becomes, sort of untethered to who you are as a person and to your mind. It becomes a commodity. I think it's going to come with an assortment of body image issues that she's going to have to reconcile, in the future. Where are you at with trust of other men? If you're, if the majority of your relationships with men are coming from this transactional viewpoint of they come to you, you engage in an act, it goes on your OnlyFans, or, you know, you're a prostitute and they pay you, I imagine your vision of men is going to be just absolutely horrifying. So what happens when a good man does come, you know, possibly, and wants to marry you and be in a relationship? Are you going to trust that man? Are you going to be in a good, like, state of mind to even be able to support a relationship like that? What happens when you have kids and your kids go to school and the school finds out that their mom is an OnlyFans creator because that digital footprint is on the internet forever? I could just continue to list things that, you know, in the future are going to pop up. And hopefully she has the mental capacity to deal with them. And, you know, like, my goodness, her whole view on what she's doing right now could change. I think in looking into this episode, the girl in orange, I think she's 22 years old. This girl is younger than me, doing, you know, OnlyFans and porn and prostitution, essentially. So the amount that your viewpoint is going to change by just even a year from now, let alone like when your prefrontal cortex is fully developed. I fear for... I hope she's doing all right. We're about to finish up this video, so whichever one has the most votes, Cody Co or the Natty Bodybuilders, is what we will move on to next.
Looks like Cody Co's in the lead right now with 31% versus Natty's versus steroids is 21%. So.
Okay, let's close out this video.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying I think that's how most people are, where casual sex can be harmful.
And I think it can definitely be harmful for men. I want to be clear. I'm saying that it's different for men and it's different for women, but I don't agree with the statement sex is sex. It's just sex at all.
And it's natural to be like attracted to a lot of different people. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's like...
But that comes with self-control. I think attraction is one thing, and acting on those needs or wants by sleeping with multiple people, I don't understand that.
Did you want to come in on
I
this?
guess I don't. What do you mean?
Like,
I don't understand
not
why
in
would
response
you?
to her, but just the...
In general?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't necessarily agree with the idea that sex is just sex. When I was younger, I definitely had a lot more, you know, like casual sexual relationships, not one night stands or anything by that measure, more like situationship. And as I got older, you know, my views on it kind of changed, and, you know, you do feel differently when, like you were saying, it doesn't feel good to hook up with somebody and not have them call you back. So I actually was celibate for about 2 years before I met my partner, doing OnlyFans and everything else.
Your current partner?
Yes.
Okay.
I wasn't sleeping with anybody. I like stuck to it very hard because I just didn't really like the feeling of sleeping with somebody and then getting an emotional attachment to them. So I think that certain people, because everybody is different, I don't think that it's that black and white. But I think to some people and to some women and to some men, casual sex really is just sex, whether they're leaving DNA or not. I think that there are people that do actually feel that way, because I've met women that are like that.
I mean, sure. I mean, you can always find outliers in any given group of people. How large is that group of outliers is the real question. And I would argue that the vast majority of women are not doing, you know, casual, I in no way, shape, or form care sex with other men.
But for me, it is not that simple. And I don't think that it's that simple for most women.
See, that's the issue. I do think it's that simple for most women. And like the outliers that she points to in no way, you know, justify everything that is going on right now. But I digress. That was Candace Owens talking OnlyFans on the Whatever Pod. We have a $50 super chat from Hannah Stone. It says, love to get your input. There was a biological male trans kid in a middle school who attacked 3 female students. Both incidents were recorded. Hazelbrook Middle School in Tualatin School District. The middle school was closed today. Yeah, I did see that incident. I did watch the video. We almost made a video on it, but I personally felt uncomfortable showcasing what happened to the young woman at the middle school. I will recap it for those of you who did not see the video. There was a trans-identifying male, aka biological male, who attacked a presumably teenage girl in a middle school hallway. This was filmed on video, and then another video came out of him attacking 2 other girls. So I mean, obviously this is horrible. You should never have, you know, violence of any kind, let alone a boy hitting a girl in this case. And I believe the school came forward after a very big uproar about the video and said that they've launched a full-scale investigation into this kid, and hopefully they're going to do something to fix this situation and get the kid out of the school. It deserves to be, you know, expelled and placed in like some other form of schooling, because at that point you are a harm to other students, and other students deserve to have peace when they are going to school to get educated. Those videos were absolutely horrifying, and I hope that there were measures taken for justice in this case before the video went viral. I just don't know the details on that, and I believe the school district is keeping things on the DL, one, because they're getting heat, and two, because these are minors involved. So keep that in mind, especially when sharing that video. And the real reason that I didn't share that video, obviously, you know, I disagree with showing kids on this show, but also this is like one of the worst days of this girl's life. And because people are really, you know, fired up and outraged about the trans issue, they're like sharing this video everywhere. So now the whole world has seen this girl go through something that is extremely embarrassing. So we have to think about kind of collateral damage when we are sharing and talking about these videos. If you're going to talk about it, like try to find a blurred version or something, like to where this girl's face is not everywhere, because I imagine she's having a very hard time now. And yes, because of what happened in that video, but also because the video is literally everywhere. Now, on a lighter note, we're gonna move on to Cody Co and The Button. For those of you who don't know, Cody Co is a really big YouTuber. I do follow Cody Co, and that's why I'm pretty well acquainted with The Button now. I honestly will see episodes of The Button, the speed dating show, come out, and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna wait for Cody Co's reaction to this video. But now Cody Co gets to be The Button, and hopefully they'll explain the rules here. But you sit down with somebody, you go on a speed date. If you reject them, you hit the button when it turns red, and they get out of there, and a new person shows up. So let's watch.
Also says that
it's a red flag, girls that change their
hairstyle too often.
Through my experience, if they're coloring their hair very often, it's not really.
Oh, you were too slow.
Welcome to The Button, a speed dating show. When the button lights up red, either player may press it and swap out their date for a new person.
Get out of here.
If two people can last on a date for 10 minutes, they win an all expenses paid second date.
In this episode, we have a special guest who's going to be voicing me.
I'm Button fan, critic, aficionado, Cody Co, here to voice it for the first time.
This is The Button.
Okay, let's watch.
Oh, I think the voice is still deep.
Whoops, sorry.
They're pulling the first people.
You're in first.
I'll let you guys know who I would buzz
She's
first
like,
out
I'm
of the two
nervous.
people.
I'm
Maybe we'll
nervous
do
right
that.
How are you?
I'm so good.
This is Satan.
Welcome to hell.
Oh,
No, I'm playing. This is The Button. Welcome.
Please flirt now.
Emil.
Emil.
Yeah.
Jalian.
Jalian. Pleasure.
Okay, go ahead. How old are you?
26. How old are you?
How old do I look?
You look 25.
Ooh, you about to say.
He was about to say 30 something.
You say 25 or 35?
Well, I said 25.
You know, Emil had a court date recently. What was that for?
You're a troublemaker.
Why is he
not? You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
No, probably like a parking ticket.
Probably.
Sus. Super sus. Probably a parking ticket. Buzzed. As soon as it turns red. Sorry, he's out. Also, I like this girl's personality, so she can stay.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound convincing.
Did you ever been to court? You like the gym?
Buzzed him.
It was nice to meet you.
It's okay.
Bye.
Did you think they had any chemistry?
No. Right?
How are you?
Bonko, nice to meet you.
What's your name?
Bonko. I didn't recognize this guy.
Wow, I see you work out. Yeah. How?
Okay, no. Buzz. Hitting him. And not because he works out or anything like that. Just because he looks like he's on roids, which I'm not attracted to in the slightest bit at all. It's unhealthy. I'm like, you're going to be gone at like 45. So it's not going to be a long.
I don't know he's on roids, though.
I just said he looks like
We need
it.
to watch the other video to see if you can distinguish between people on roids or not.
Yeah, maybe we do. I'm just saying he looks like he does. Maybe he doesn't. I'm just saying he looks like he does. And to me, it's a no from me.
It's discrimination, Amala.
It may
Void lives matter.
I'm sorry. Bye.
Wow. Woo, buddy.
What do you do?
I work as an admin.
Admin?
Yeah. What do you do?
I'm a personal trainer.
That is
So
not
that's work out.
natural.
You work out?
It's not natural.
I do, but you can help me work out a little bit more. Boy, you better.
I would. Get you in
That's
shape.
okay. Yeah, that's what I need. Shoot. But it's okay. Yeah. So, what do you like to do besides workout? Is that all you like to do?
No, I like to go to the movies. I like to get a drink sometimes.
Do you guys like smoke?
Listen to, okay, I really want, maybe I do want to move. I'm like, maybe I do need to do this bodybuilder video because I feel like that man is on steroids. You guys should vote in the chat down below. Is Bonko on steroids or is he not? Because the dude looks like a beef cow and that is not normal. Like, I think social media has skewed like what looks normal for an average like fit guy who goes to the gym often or even qualifies as a bodybuilder. And to me, like the body fat percentage on that man does not make sense for him being natural. That's all I'm gonna say.
Smoking weed or what?
Yeah, after workout, I can hit a joint.
That's what you do after you work out?
Yeah. Relaxes the muscles, yeah.
Okay.
Jai, what do you think about bald dudes?
Yeah, bald. His bald head, he got no hair. Boy, how come you're bald?
How come you're bald?
I like
My
her personality.
Everybody's like that in Bulgaria.
Alright.
Usually guys shave their heads, yeah.
He got a lot of muscles though. Whew, you look like you can crush something. Yeah?
Oh. First.
And why did you reject him?
He muscular, and he looked at me like he said, "Oh, she chunky monkey." It's okay though.
Jai, what are your red flags?
I don't really want guys that smoke, drink, who're full of themselves.
What are you thinking so far? How is this? It's good. It's hard. It takes a while to get used to like the coordination, paying attention to what they're saying, and also trying to figure out like how to butt in. You know.
Hello.
Who's
What's your name?
next?
EJ, how are you?
EJ.
Good. So what's up with your tattoos?
What do you want to know?
I see you got multiple.
I do.
You got kids?
I got 2 kids.
What do you think about kids, Jai?
I love kids. I used to work at YMCA.
Okay, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Is that your real eyes?
Maybe.
You lying. Is it really?
If somebody was on like a dating show and they were like, I have 2 kids, I'm sorry. Bang. I'd have to hit it. Like, go back to your baby mama. What do you mean? Go fix your relationship. Like, go do whatever it takes to get back with that woman and to raise your kids. Unless she's like absolutely insane or like abusive or something like that. Like, you have your hero's journey, and your hero's journey is not sitting on a YouTube dating show right now talking to me. It's over there fixing your relationship and having a 2-parent household for your kids, buddy.
It's kind of a savage take. But
Is
you're
it?
saying like because they're on a YouTube show, not just people who have had children shouldn't now be dating or anything.
No. Yeah, of course you can go out and date. You know, there's this like radio therapist. Her name is Dr. Laura. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but shout out to Dr. Laura. And these mothers will call in and they're like, I'm a single mom of like 3 kids and I want to find a new man. And she's like, no. You're not finding a new man. She's like, you until your kids are 18, they're your priority. You are not bringing a new man into their life, and you know you're not going to create imbalance within like their upbringing. You tried it with the first man, it didn't work out. You wait and you like let them have their time, let them grow, be what you need to be as a mother, and then you can go and find your man. And you know, maybe it's an extreme point of view. And maybe it's not the right point of view to have, or it's a little bit too much. But whenever I hear that, I'm like, you know what? I agree. If you decided to bring kids into the world, which means now they are your priority, they are your priority. And if the relationship that you had, that you used to bring those kids into the world didn't work out, you either have to find a way to fix that relationship if it is fixable and you're not in some sort of abusive situation, or you just wait it out. And I get that there are instances of like bringing in a really nice guy who like loves to be, a stepfather to your kids and is completely wholesome and all this stuff. But, like what are the odds on that? What are the odds that that is what happens? And what are the odds that like it just becomes a never-ending door of like bringing in new boyfriends for your kids to meet and stuff like that? I think you have to take it very seriously if you are a single mother who is out there looking to date, and especially if you are looking to introduce somebody to your kids. So that might be a hot take. I don't know if that's a hot take. But
I'm seeing some chat in the chat. They're saying it's a little bit of a hot take, but some people agreeing with you. I think it's like case by case basis. I don't think it should be like a hard and fast rule that if you have failed in one relationship or your man left you and it's you should not pursue another man. I think you should keep that door open, and like we know that kids do better statistically with a father in the home. Now, can you, if you're a single parent, if your prior relationship failed because of shortcomings on your part or like a bad view of relationships or whatever, then is it probable that that your next relationship could mess up? Maybe, that's why I think it's case by case. Like if the right guy comes in and you've grown and matured and this is like it's a healthy thing and it could be healthy for everyone, then I think that that shouldn't be, I don't think there should be any kind of rule prohibiting that, or that it shouldn't be like a norm. But I do think that there should be a lot of caution there when it comes to introducing a man to your kids, for sure.
Super, super caution. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Like a lot of caution. Again, I think it's possible. Like I have, a stepmother, and she's a perfectly nice individual. But I think like the amount of caution one should take once they've already had kids of like introducing somebody new to your kids should be like your top priority. Well, let's keep watching.
I don't know, is it? Contact, the guarantee.
Yeah, real quick, we got another $50 super chat.
Okay.
Quick. This is another one from
Moderate Thoughts.
Moderate Thoughts. Sorry, we're getting our cameras here. Jordan Peterson claims that a healthy romantic partner is someone who opposes you. Think of what Apollo Creed did for Rocky. The best moments of your life come from people opposing and challenging you. Any structure supports opposing one another.
Yeah, I think as long as it's healthy opposition, and they're like pushing you towards being a better person and doing better things with your life, I think that is a great thing to have in a partner. I don't think you want to have somebody who doesn't challenge you. Like that for me would not be a fun existence, to just have somebody who's constantly going with everything that you say and just never has a little bit of opposition. Now, you don't want like opposition on things that are like fundamental, and that is going to create strife in your relationship. But certainly like in a nice pushing force is always good in a relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a proverb that's like iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. I think there's something to that. But to your point, you don't want someone who's just straight up combative and straight up just causing discord and dissension because they're very high in disagreeableness or whatever. That can be a source of frustration. So you want like an overarching commitment to the relationship and to working things out, but some healthy friction now and then is a source of growth. And you don't, like you said, you don't want someone who's a doormat on one side and is just completely deferring to the other person. So there's no friction, and it's all just one person dominating the relationship, and that's not healthy.
Yeah.
Matching?
Maybe
ask them if they're attracted to each other.
Are you guys attracted to one another?
I can say he's not, but
No.
yeah, it's okay.
Not
I said you look like a homie.
I appreciate that.
Yes, about that life.
Yeah.
Ooh, got her first.
EJ,
Nice
I
to meet you.
appreciate
Already.
Was that true? Were you not attracted to her?
Was not.
I appreciate the honesty.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm EJ, by the way.
Oh, I'm Shen.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What do you do for a living?
Well, I'm a painter.
Oh, word. Okay.
Yeah.
What are you guys' types?
Someone who's self-aware and taller than me.
EJ, how tall are you?
I'm 5'8".
Okay.
Yeah.
How tall is that? I'm 5'6", so.
They are not each other's type.
Okay, a little bit taller than you.
Yeah,
Just
a little bit. Yeah.
Do you want them to like get close and peer into each other's eyes?
I can't. But what's your type?
Family oriented, has to be good with kids.
Do you want kids?
I have 2 kids.
Okay.
Yeah, how about you?
No, I don't have any kids.
Is that a red flag that he has kids? A red flag.
I don't want kids, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like a match made in heaven then.
Beautiful.
Show a picture of your children, and she has to press the button while looking at a picture of your children.
EJ, do you think there's any convincing her?
That dating a person with kids is actually a good thing?
It actually really is, to be honest.
I mean, I feel like for me is a hard like lie.
Yeah, okay, go red then.
It's nice seeing you. Oh my God. It was so nice meeting you. Yeah.
Next.
Who's putting
Are you
them
looking for a
together? These
stepmom?
producers are not doing a great job, in my opinion.
Well, they want the drama, so they have to do all the mismatches first, I guess, just to get the ball rolling and get people interested.
Yeah, it's just cringe.
Yeah.
What's good?
If the match is right, you know.
Are you looking for a stepmom for you or for your kids?
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Like your hair.
Thank you.
How long you guys been single for?
Oh. Ladies first.
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you?
Since May.
That's like 4 months.
Yeah,
Is
pretty
that-
much 4 months.
What happened?
I was getting cheated on.
Oh.
Yeah.
How long were y'all together?
Yikes.
10 months.
Yeah, go red.
I kind of set myself up there. Oh.
Oh my God!
Oh.
Is it because you got cheated on?
Dude, that was so rough. I got cheated on, and then it goes beep.
Savage.
That is really, really savage.
Poor guy can't catch a break.
Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh. And
That
she's
wasn't a
laughing.
no.
Oh no.
Why'd you reject him?
It was not my type.
What is your type? What are you looking for?
That's the question, isn't it?
Girl.
Yes. Yep. That's why I asked it.
Someone tall?
Short guys are cool too, though. I mean.
Yeah, they're totally cool for someone who's into that. Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Fantastic.
Oh gosh. I remember this guy from other buttons. I don't think I like this guy, but we're gonna see.
What's your name?
My name is Austin.
Austin.
Oh gosh, he's a terror. I remember.
Austin!
Anya, how often do you change your hairstyle?
Every day.
Every day.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Austin, are you into that?
I mean, is that color in it? Are you just doing different
No, I have a bunch of wigs.
flows? Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Diversitile.
Yeah.
Diversitile.
What do you know about Austin?
He said it's a red flag. Too frequent haircuts / style changes usually indicates that she's a wackadoodle.
Austin says that it's a red flag.
Did you really say
But
that?
this is a wig. That's different. Like, it's a little different if you're coloring your hair like every month.
Don't
but this is
backtrack,
a
bro.
wig.
Yeah, right.
I'm throwing this dude under the bus.
What does that say about people if they're coloring their hair every month?
Usually means they're going through some shit. Through my experience.
Does that? It usually means they're going through some shit. Do I agree with that? Maybe I do. I don't know. Do you agree with that, Taylor?
I think, I don't know. I mean, if the thing that you could be going through is an ideological transformation in the wrong direction, as we've seen so many of those side-by-side pictures of like before and after becoming woke or whatever, and these girls who are like beautiful young girls, and then all of a sudden they've got their head shaved and they look all crazy looking and have weird colors going on. So
Right.
I don't know. That's what I associate it with.
There is a little bit of instability in that. I think.
there's- I mean, I will say there's normal, people always get mad in the chat. There are like cool, normal girls who put colors in their hair, and it's kind of like a fun thing that they're doing. So I'm not saying that's like the blanket, we should judge all women who have blue hair or whatever. But
Right. I feel like I change my hair a lot. Like I always like go from braids to this, to that, to this, that, and the other. Am I unstable? Guys, let me know in the chat.
Experience. They're coloring their hair very often.
Okay,
It's
so
not really.
specifically coloring.
Oh, you were too slow.
He missed. It's so awkward. Gosh, imagine you like reject somebody and then you have to sit there and you have to just wait and continue talking to them until the button goes again. Devastating. Are you not embarrassed?
Why
I'm
did
gonna
you press
submit
it?
you for this, Amala.
You're gonna
have to
submit
do
me
it.
for the button. I will
Yeah, be on
not
the
show
button.
up. I will not show up. This is what's gonna happen.
You're just not physically attractive,
Oh.
unfortunately.
Oh, you got me. You got me.
Dude, if you're sitting across from somebody on a speed date and they're like, hey, why don't you want to date me? Just lie. Like, don't say it's because you're ugly or like because you're not physically attractive. That's kind of crazy. Just be like, I just feel like there wasn't a vibe or like there wasn't a spark. We didn't hit it off. You don't have to be like, you are not physically attractive. Damn.
Remember that video we reacted to of the young guy who was asked by the plus size girl, would you date plus size women? and he strove over like the course of 3 minutes or something to be like, say anything but I'm rejecting you because I
Right.
don't like you because you're overweight.
Right.
But he was polite, and that was to his credit. So yeah, to
Yeah.
your point, you can kind of tap dance around the issue a little bit.
This guy not so polite. My goodness. Okay, but he's staying in the game.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
What are you looking for?
Not that.
Oh my God.
Ugh. Just get him off the show just because he's him. Just go above the rules to get him off.
Damn. Holy
Horrible.
shit. He's ruthless.
You're pretty brutally honest, huh?
That wasn't that bad.
Ugh.
How you doing?
Imagine what he's like in a relationship. My goodness.
Great.
Yeah. It's a little early, isn't it?
It's a little fucking early. I'm like, I cannot look hungover.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got Drake tonight, so.
Are you going to Drake? So am I.
I might.
What's your guys' favorite Drake song?
No kidding.
Jumbotron. Wow, that's an aggressive.
Austin, what's your favorite
That's an
Drake
aggressive
song?
laugh. Yeah, really.
I would be like, boy, if you don't get my hands, if somebody kept shaking.
Soft hands.
I'm moist for that.
Oh, good for you.
Is there some sparks flying right now?
I'm just, honestly, I'm just vibing with you. I think you're just fun. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're fun too.
You got seats too, or are you like in the pit?
I have backstage passes.
So you're sucking dick? Oh my god.
No, absolutely not.
What did he just say? All right, so you're sucking dick?
That's why I probably won't get invited to next concert because I won't suck dick.
Sorry.
I just got gaslighted.
Wait, why? Why did you reject her?
It's definitely not the definition of gaslighting, but.
Because I'm going backstage.
I don't know what that mouth did.
It's like he
Everybody
felt
hates this
more
guy.
I don't like him. Yeah, everybody dislikes this guy. Ugh, gosh.
up by her for having backstage passes, so he had to.
I think so, yeah. It's rough, dude.
Hello, Austin.
Ouch!
Sorry, I like bumped it.
Why
I
are you
didn't hear
beating
your
the
name.
fuck out of the button?
Ow! Ow! Stop touching
Oh my
me.
god, okay.
Just wanted to make sure.
Really? Can I ask you a hypothetical?
Hypothetical. Go ahead.
Okay. I always say that when I get engaged, I want my fiance, I want to peg him the night we get engaged.
Okay. We're just gonna skip this. Let's hope that they're done.
He's like,
Yes,
okay, all right.
You guys should get engaged right now.
I got no ring on me.
No,
He's like, nope.
Yeah.
Ooh, she
Why'd
got
you reject him?
Bye.
I don't feel it like that. I feel like we're both so like bitchy and crass.
Sure.
That it's almost too much. This doesn't work
Hey, you
out.
missed out.
Okay, yeah, slay. I'm sorry he hit you.
That's okay. Still recovering. Ow! Ow!
Oh. Ow, in a good way or in a bad way?
Maybe both.
Okay, this
Okay,
girl's
do you want
a
some
freak.
around you?
Yeah, sure.
Can you moan again?
Oh
You're
my
not
gosh.
me?
No.
Okay, new guy.
Oh, you will?
Give her a moan.
Coming out hot.
Cody, do you know this man?
Oh yeah, he's a legend. You interviewed him actually.
I remember this
You're an
guy from the
animal person?
button. So far, he's a good sport.
I like cats. I want a cat specifically.
Cats are better than dogs.
I like it. Yeah,
Dogs, they're
yeah.
better
I
than
like
dogs.
it. I had one crawl on me, and it made me feel. I was scared, and then it made it go away when it crawled in.
Were you
on
like
me.
cracked the fuck out?
like,
Because that's
cracked out?
You're giving me like crackhead energy, which is not bad. One of my cats.
What do I
has
do
crackhead
about it? How do I
energy.
fix it?
What do I do about how to fix it?
Why am I cracked out? What do I do to fix it? I'm frightened. It's not
Why
cracked.
are you frightened?
Are you not frightened?
I'm like disassociated.
They have very similar energy. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but they have very, very similar energy to one another. I think this is a hit right here. They are both like very awkward, but like stream of consciousness, just giving their thoughts. This might.
Guys, are there
It's the end of the video too. This might
any
be a
sparks
match.
here? What do you feel? How are you feeling right now?
I feel like there's something. I don't know what it is. It's
Is
definitely
it anxiety?
interesting. No.
It's crackhead energy is what it is. Yeah, they both have crackhead energy. I don't know. Like, that's real, recognized real there because that girl sounds like a crackhead.
I mean, I feel like I'm having more fun with you than I've had with anyone else, for sure.
Cool.
What are you feeling right now?
I think you're beautiful.
Aw, thanks.
Yeah, and I like the way that you talk.
How do I talk? Elaborate.
It makes me more relaxed.
You know what? I get exactly what she means. Do y'all know what crackhead energy is? Because it doesn't mean you have to do crack to have crackhead energy. I think there is like... I don't know how to explain this. Okay, so I once had this neighbor in an apartment that I was living in, right? And he lived below, and he lived with his girlfriend. And every time that you would talk to this guy, he just like came at you full force. You could tell that like the social barriers of anxiety and like internal thought and just judging oneself were completely gone with this guy. He would just stream of consciousness tell you what he was thinking or feeling at any given moment. And that's the energy that both of these people have. Now, the guy who lived below me in my apartment happened to be a former crack addict. And I think there is sort of like a mental barrier that doing a lot of drugs sort of breaks down in your mind to where you access a level of just like no longer feeling that deeper set like anxiety towards yourself and towards your thoughts, and you just stream of consciousness to share stuff about you. And some people naturally have that within themselves, like maybe these two, and some people access that through doing crack.
Or they are just crackheads. Who knows? But yeah, there is something to that, I think, where it just breaks your filter for sure.
Yeah, the same thing for like people that I've met who have done like a lot of shrooms in their life. They are very similar of like just sharing anything. They're very in touch with how they feel. Like when that guy said, I like cats, you know, a cat crawled on me once and I was very scared of it, but then it made my scaredness dissipate. It went away. He's just like sharing.
Yeah, but shroom head energy is different from crackhead energy.
Yes,
right?
it is.
Shroom heads are more like, wow, experience. This
yes.
is cool. This thing happened once. Yeah, like the crackhead's like,
it's the shroom people are like a more softed, grounded form of sharing. The crackheads are like, their eyes are constantly like in a state of looking a lot larger than you feel like they should be. And yeah, that's what I feel, the crackhead energy. I actually get that, and I think it's well articulated on the part of that girl.
Then something is happening here, maybe.
What's happening? Tell me what's happening.
I need Adderall, man.
I have some in my backpack. I'm prescribed. I just like
I prescribe, but we got the national shortage going on right now.
For Adderall? Are you guys doing a drug deal right now?
No, I mean,
I would give it to her for free.
I'm prescribed, so it's not even like.
Oh yeah, me too. Why are we talking about that? What do you like creatively? What is your
I like you have the same name as my brother?
What? There's no.
And that's fucking with my head. He's a Wasian man named Jesse, which is the exact same thing as my brother is. Even though we're vibing, I could never. You know what I mean? But like.
Magic.
She said that what? He has the same name as her brother, and that's why she can't be with him?
Yeah, and he's Wasian. Like white Asian, I guess.
Girl, if you don't get over it, because this is literally your husband, what are you talking about? If you don't pony up, regardless of how you feel about the subject matter of what they're talking about, these two people are very, very similar. This is a match.
If you had a different name.
We got one more $50 super chat real quick, Amala.
Okay, let's read it.
It's from Moderate Thoughts again. Says, in medieval times, people had titles like Sharon the Gold Digger and Sir Ken the Impotent was because a journey to meet could take many months. What is your take on that level of disclosure? Love the show, by the way. Kick-ass staycation.
Wait, what? I don't understand what's being asked.
Did you have a title that has an important descriptor to your personality? Like in this case, it would be, what was that guy's name? Jason the Crackhead Energy, maybe?
Yeah, Jesse the Crackhead. I don't know. We'll have to think about it. You guys drop in the chat. What is my name in this case? Amala the what? What best describes me? I would love to see what you guys put in the chat down below because that is interesting. I don't have one for myself quite yet, but I'll let you guys Pick one.
It'd normally be like Amala the Compassionate or something, but today it'd be like Amala the Savage.
Yeah. Am I being savage today? Okay, well, we'll continue watching while you guys put those down in the chat down below.
The level-headed, someone said.
Amala the level-headed, hopefully. Am I level-headed? Did I give too much of a hot take on divorce and single parenthood? I didn't say I fully agree with Dr. Laura, by the way. I should look over here. All I said was that sometimes I consider that.
Like, I swear on my life.
I'll give you another chance if you guys want. Jesse, maybe you just want to like change your name or something?
Yeah, dude.
I'm not sure because like I enjoy talking to you because I think you're like a fucking psycho in a good way, but like you still have the same name as my brother.
Wait, let's.
And my brother's like one of my least favorite people to ever exist in this world. Like literally.
Well, maybe we can work through it. Guys, I'm gonna light up red one
Maybe
more
we can
time.
work through it.
And you can make the decision. See if you can see past his name.
Okay, well it's up. It's
Dude,
her
girl,
call.
you're not gonna do much better than that. You should definitely pick the guy. What do you mean? He does have his nails painted, which I am not a fan of, but his personality points are winning right now.
Here.
Even I would be like,
How do you spell your Jesse? Is it different than my
It's
brother?
different than your brother. It's spelled with a Z and an X.
All right, congrats.
You won.
she didn't click it.
All right, guys.
I love how they just like forced him. They're like, no, actually, you are a match. Even though she hit the button and used her free will to say no, they're like, absolutely not. Actually, you are going on a second date.
I was still trying to picture in my head how you spell that guy's name. If it's got a Z and an X in it, his name's Jesse.
He's totally lying.
Is Elon Musk his dad or something?
No, he's totally just lying to get a second date with this girl, which is very charming. So that is really, that's funny. I hope they actually go on a second date because you know what? That is a match if I have ever seen one on the button. And what's going to be interesting is that I know Cody Co is going to do a reaction to Cody Co taking over the button. So I'm going to have to freaking watch a reaction within a reaction. Whenever
and then
this
you can
video
react
comes
to that,
out.
right?
Exactly. I think this is a good way to close out and move into Super Chats. So let's do exactly that. And guys, let me know in the chat down below, how do you like this kind of choose your adventure or you choose I react live? Should we do these more often and spring them on you where you guys get to choose which videos we watch? Let me know.
Yeah, let us know. I'm going to read some of these Amala the blanks. though,
Okay.
because you guys had some good ones. Amala the badass, Amala the cool cat, the chill pill, the based, the strong-willed, the wise, the epic, the eloquent, the Urban Dictionary.
You guys are too nice.
Speaking of Urban Dictionary, when I was vetting one of those videos today, and she said the thing about pegged, I had to look it up. And
You had to look up what.
I regret it. Yeah.
There's a
and
reason I skipped
regret
that
it.
conversation
Yeah.
because the show is not exactly family friendly, but we try to keep it at least within the bounds of reason. And that question that she asked him, we had to skip. I'm so sorry. And I'm sorry that you looked that
Poor
up.
innocent brain.
Oh no.
Anyways, okay, that was enough of that. Let's get into your super chats today. Let's see. Cave is our first one. He says, working on game development while watching the show. Love the show as a libertarian. While I sometimes disagree, I always get the thought process.
Nice. Thank you. We appreciate that. And I'm glad you're doing some stuff that I probably in no way, shape, or form understand while you're watching this show. So that is cool.
Sounds cool though. Yeah. Sup, my dude says, I was going to say Gen Z needs to get their panties out of a bunch, but after watching your recent gym video, I should say gym shorts instead.
Yeah, and you guys seem to love that gym video. If you didn't catch up and watch it, it's about gym girls and this whole idea of, going to the gym, dressing provocatively, and then complaining when you get energy from other people and people are staring at you and all that. So go check out that video if you like. But yeah, that is a astute observation on your part. And a lot of you are saying down below that you loved this choose your adventure idea for the show. All goes to Taylor. There's a round of applause.
Yeah,
It's his
maybe
idea.
we'll do more of it on Fun Fridays. Let you guys vote what we react to and talk about.
Yeah, sure thing.
Which means you got to tune in live. Set your notifications on. Make sure
Gotta
you're
tune
subscribed.
in.
Have that notification bell checked.
You smash
shameless
that
plug.
notification bell, guys.
Yeah. Ty Oren says, Taylor, Amala, you both rock and are such role models to me. Amala, is your email still the one with the PragerU address?
No, it is not. It's the new one on my Instagram. On my Instagram, it should be new. If it's not, I'm going to go update it.
And you can try sliding in the DMs. We'll check those sometimes.
Slide
Not anything weird,
DMs. Yeah, not anything weird, though. Please.
Daniel Santana says, happy Friday and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, guys. We have a video coming out tomorrow. Also, if you guys need some time to fill in your weekend, it's going to be girl math versus boy math. The war of the sexes is going to hit tomorrow morning. So I can't wait for you guys to see that. It's more of like a fun video, nothing serious for this Saturday.
Yeah, Alyssa says, first time catching a live. Finally, love the show. Thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you.
Christopher Alcine is becoming a regular now, a new irregular, but I love it. Late for the stream because job interview. Oh, hopefully that went well. But how else can I support you guys, right? Totally love your content. 100% recommend it to everyone. Have a good day.
Aw, thank you. And we were late to the stream too. So we're all in the same basket. Did you guys hear much of the fan playing during the show? Let me know down below because this might be a staple here in this studio, given the technical difficulties.
But he asked how else he can support us, so we have to give a shameless plug now. He's teed us up for it.
Gosh, we do have a Patreon channel, guys. The link is in the description down below. And Patreon people will get to, vote on stuff that we do for the show. They just voted for the name of the new Discord server, which I actually need to pull up and see what you guys picked. Let me pull that up. You'll get some extra content over there, and the lowest tier on Patreon is $1. So you can give $1 and still get access to literally everything that everybody else gets as well. They voted for Uncensored with Amala, so that's going to be the new name of the Discord server. And yeah, so you can join on Patreon if you'd like to support the show, especially amid our technical difficulties.
Yeah, so get on Patreon, get on Discord, and join the Uncensored with Amala server.
Yeah.
Jacob Lenke just comes in clutch here with a $100 super chat.
Whoa.
Thanks for the show. Good reminders.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you so much.
That is awesome. And by the way, just being here and liking the stream, engaging with it is worth a lot.
That's
so
enough.
You can't do
y'all.
anything else. We're just grateful you're here hanging out with us.
Absolutely.
And watching the show. Let's see. Alex Luscious is a good one. Have you ever heard of YouTube channels Geeks and Gamers or Nerdrotic? If not, you should check them out in the future.
We've had Nerdrotic on this show, baby. We do have a video talking about woke Hollywood with Nerdrotic that you can check out. We do love Gary, and we do intend on having him on this show in the future. So keep an eye out, and eventually he'll be back on.
Amala may or may not have appeared on a Friday Night Tights episode once back in the day.
Yeah, it was
not that long ago.
Yeah, and it's so funny because it's while I was working at PragerU, right? And if you guys know Friday Night Tights, it is not the most appropriate of shows to be on. So the mix of like working at PragerU, which you're not supposed to be inappropriate, which valid, of course, and then being on Friday Night Tights, it makes for an interesting watch.
Definitely. Nay Spaniel.
We got another 50.
Okay, let's
from Moderate Thoughts.
Skip the line right there. Moderate Thoughts. I think this show is important because America needs to be united again. Distraction is a weapon, and people don't recognize that often enough. Watch how your tax dollars are being spent and have expectations.
Yes, I mean, we completely agree with you. And that's why we try to broach the issues, talk about it, have fun at the same time, make it like a positive space to get into these conversations, because even if you're watching, conservative or leftist content, so often it's so angry and just calling out stuff and this and that. And I think you can still achieve that without making it such a negative thing to do. If people leave feeling bad about where they're at in the world, or feeling bad about having conversations, it's not going to do much good to unite or encourage people to start dialogues. You need to make it a positive force, and you gotta, and that involves compassion and allowing people to have differing views and giving voice to opposing opinions. So we try our best. There's another $50 super chat.
There is. This is from Chris Stops Muskites. Says, I just love that I found someone that's thinking the same way as I am in any other ways. I'm an LGBTQ plus person, and I don't agree about a lot of things all the people from my community agree on from these days.
Yeah, that's great. And like, there should never be that expectation. That's the sad part, that now that if you're part of a community, you're meant to agree with everything that they say and do. And that's the, you know, the weird part with even being in a community at the first place. So I'm glad that you guys found this show, that it's resonating with you, and that, you know, from all walks of life, you feel comfortable, you know, being who you are and sharing your opinion here. So that is our ultimate goal. So thank you guys.
It is, and I'll just underscore that. And like, I packed up my bags and went all in on joining Amala on this venture because I sincerely do believe in what she's doing, what we're doing, and this approach to conversation. I think it's something that's needed. I had a friend ask me a while back, like, what do you think the solution is to the polarization that we're seeing in society right now in America and even just in the Western world? And I think it is having more open conversations, giving good faith arguments about other positions that you're engaging with, ignoring the like angry sort of discourse and all that, and cutting to debating issues on their merits, and you know, treating people with a little bit of respect, with a little bit of you know, granting them the benefit of the doubt when it comes to their views, and just letting some of the air, the tension out of the conversation, and really just making it so we can talk again, because we can disagree, but if we can't even talk with each other, then that's a tough thing. So we love hearing feedback like this, that even if you may not agree with us or have the same quote unquote labels, whatever, we don't even really care about labels that much anymore. We talk about being a free thinker, being truth seeking, and having open conversations. Those are the values that we have, things we care about. And I'm so glad that so many of y'all resonate with this, and hopefully we're building something and changing the culture a little bit, or at least making a dent.
I do hope so.
Or staying sane with
I
each
think
other.
we are. Yeah, staying sane.
Yeah.
Our own little community staying sane with each other.
All right, enough sappy stuff. Let's get back on track here. Let's see. Alex says 100% facts. Taylor, going for a younger girl usually results with her having less baggage, more moldable in terms of not being set in your ways / bad habits as much. Hopefully no kids, etc.
Yeah. I mean, those are all things to consider.
But yeah, and again, I know that there's young girls with very unhealthy mindsets who, you know, can be a terrible match if you're looking for a more traditional relationship as well.
Exactly.
So I think it's always case by case, and everything to, you know, like we talked about it not too recently about divorce rates, and everyone talking about marriage and all this stuff. And it's like, so much of it depends on just the attitude, the character, the vision that the people going into the relationship have as individuals, and what they've agreed upon as what makes a healthy relationship. So I don't like this conversation descending into, well, all men prefer this type of woman, or all women shouldn't do this. It's like, it's more nuanced than that.
Yeah, just like be careful, guys, because a lot of people, especially when they talk about dating and finding a significant other, they place who that person is going to be in a box before they've even met anybody. Like, you'll hear people go, oh, I only want to date, I don't want to date like somebody who's Asian or black or white, or I want to date somebody who's in this age range or make this amount of money or is in school for this or what, or this tall. And what you're doing is just like, first of all, you're cutting yourself off to so many people who could be absolutely great for you and for your life and could be just the best person for you. And when you factor in things that could or could not matter in the long term, you're cutting yourself off from possibilities. And then it becomes a never say never. Like, you're bound to meet the person who falls in the category you say you're never going to be with, and then that's the person that you end up with because of, you know, the way that your perspective is. So keep an open mind.
Yeah, don't shrink the pool of people you could have an amazing relationship life with based on arbitrary characteristics that really don't matter that much compared to things that really do matter.
Yeah.
Alex again says, hey there, gang. See, Amla, this is why you should go back onto whatever podcast, because we need smart women to put these other women on the right track.
Yeah, but then I'm like... the Whatever podcast is very curated in the women that it brings on the show to represent a certain image. And I can guarantee you, I won't say I can guarantee you because I can't guarantee you, but if I had to place my bets on like the Candace episode, I believe that they curated the women who were going to be on for Candace Beyond, which totally makes sense. And you know what? It does show sort of one swath of society, and there are many girls who subscribe to that belief, so it's okay. But I just don't know how holistic a view it is of modernity and of women, and I think it can both positively and negatively impact people. I'd maybe be down to go on the show again and have the debate and, you know, hopefully be a reasonable voice on it. It's just not like the top priority for me at the moment. I feel like we can have a broader impact without that.
Yeah, I see it both ways. I'm like, give the people what they want. It'd be such great reaction fodder, but
right.
I could see how it's like, to what degree are you contributing to just the engine that we makes our eyes roll? So
Yeah.
we got another $100 super chat from MDRN Samurai. Says, best of luck to you guys. I've been a fan for a while, and it's nice to see you branch out on your own. Love seeing you on Lift, Run, Shoot with Cam Haines as well. Keep hammering.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that was such a fun collab. Like, that's what I would love to do more of. There is like the whatever podcast where you like go on and you battle with people, and I think it's valuable, and I do think it like brings a lot of people over to this new message. But like doing stuff like going up a mountain with Cam Haines and just challenging yourself and your body and your mind, I think that's going to be a cool thing. Ice bath content is coming back because I found that hose in my apartment, so we're gonna bring that stuff back, and maybe we'll do something around that. But yeah, there will be tons of different stuff and different projects and ventures that we go out on now that we're independent.
Yeah, if y'all want to see Amala get her butt kicked, working out with Cam Haines and running up a mountain and all that, go check it out on Cam Haines' channel.
Yes,
Lift, Run, Shoot, and we also did a vlog on our channel, and it didn't perform as well as we expected, despite all of the resources we had to invest into at the time to go up there, and the filming, the editing was more complicated. So if you guys want to see more stuff like that, watch it, but let us know too, and maybe we can set something up on Patreon or something where we can like fund specific projects if we have crazy ideas like that.
Yeah.
Just
Whatever you guys want to see, give me your ideas. And of course, we have that channel in the Discord where you give suggestions for topics for the show. If there's something even more specific, a certain vlog you want to see, a certain challenge you want to see, drop that in the Discord. Another $50 super chat. Jacob Linky.
Jacob.
Yeah.
Says, keep an open mind, ? Thanks again. Another good message.
Thank you. We try. Yeah, that's just the general message of the show. Keep an open mind. You guys never know. You guys never know how things are going to shift and change and where your life is going to be in really short amounts of time. Things change and flip on their head.
Thank you. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah says, not sure how this works, but love watching your videos. Wondering if you can add your 2 cents about the new Robin Hood coming out, or make a separate video another day. Just want to see your reaction.
Isn't it like Robin Hood's now a black female or something like that?
I think so. It's ROBYN.
ROBYN Hood. Yeah. Okay, I see it. Images. Let's pull it up.
Not ROBBIN.
Is this it? I can't tell. No, it doesn't look like it's this one.
Like a trailer?
Huh?
Is there a trailer yet?
I don't know if we'll get copyright for playing it, but
Wow.
I think it's this image right here, which you guys can see. You know how I feel about it, guys. Just another race swap of another class. It's just so unnecessary. I get the feelings behind wanting to be represented, but it's just like make a new thing, please. You're just literally fueling divisiveness by changing out characters, and it's just so unnecessary. Like, just write a new story.
Everyone knows that diverse English folktale of Robin Hood.
It's like, please. It's getting. It's just getting too much. It's getting too much. It's starting to feel like pathetic is not the word, but that it is the sentiment. Like, it's starting to feel like, come on now, guys. We really don't need this. Yeah.
Yeah. No one's asking for this.
Yeah.
And if they like chilled out, like, I always use the example, like, I didn't hate Hamilton because it had a actual like unique twist on how they were presenting history or whatever and everything. But like, it just seems like they're race swapping every possible thing, and to where even if there was like an honest sort of creative attempt to do something different, it gets lost in this agenda that is just constantly out there relentlessly.
Yeah.
So I think we need a good break for a while, and then maybe we can bring it back, but in a more sincere way.
Hamilton was like such a mixed bag, yeah, with like the diversity thing. I think it like was a catalyst for a lot of like new diversity films and shows and things like that. And in a way, that's like a negative thing, but also like it created a new reverence for American history. And I think Lin-Manuel Miranda could have done a way worse depiction of the founding fathers than what he put together in that musical. And, you know, he actually did choose to like talk about, you know, the strength of these men, the things that they went through, you know, didn't focus too much on the like transgressive part of history, which I can admire. And I think like the impact that Hamilton had on like young children and young people suddenly being interested in American history, or like knowing a little bit about Hamilton, even though a lot of the facts in the musical are skewed and not totally historically accurate, it still gave like kind of like a broad picture of what life might have been like. And for that, you know, I think that nets out in a way for what it did.
Yeah, agree. Okay. Danny Terrones says, hi, I finally catch one of your lives. It was my birthday this week.
Oh, happy
this
birthday.
This is a good present. I love you guys. Keep up the good work.
Oh, thanks so much. That is great. I hope you had a very fantastic birthday, and I'm glad that you were able to join today.
Yeah, you super chatting us is a great present. Thank you. We should be super chatting you.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Emily M says, sad that Emily Ratajkowski's praising divorce more than marriage. Woman treating marriage as if it was still a dating situation is incredibly insane.
Yeah, you got to be kind of careful with people who have like been through a certain thing promoting X thing, because it's like, of course you're going to promote the thing that you've been through, and of course you're going to glamorize the thing that you've been through, because we all want to glamorize our lives. And I think in the age of social media, we do that more than anything else. We're always like romanticizing things that maybe we could just be more blunt about and say is something that you probably want to avoid. And I think if anything is one of those things is divorce, you probably want to avoid that. You know, unless it's going to put you off in a better, more healthier situation, of course.
Yeah, and there's something about like, I had this experience, therefore, you know, with marriage, therefore marriage is X, or I had this positive experience with divorce, therefore divorce is X. And it's more, seems like you just want validation for your view by going public with it and hoping that you can feel better about your situation because of it, or you're trying to rationalize and justify it to yourself by putting it out there when that's your experience, but you don't need to project that on everyone else.
Right. Like, y'all know my view on marriage is like very neutral, because there's just so many different takes on it. The stats are not looking really good. You know who I would love to have on the show is James Sexton, that divorce lawyer who did Soft White Underbelly, and then he was just recently on Lex, and they had such a great conversation. I literally saw him do his interview on Soft White Underbelly, and I was like, I need to get him on the show. I need to get him on the show. I mean, if we can't get in touch with him and get that done, I at least want to maybe watch his interview with Lex Friedman, because there are a lot of people who are staunchly pro-divorce. There are a lot of people who are staunchly anti-divorce. I do sit in the middle on the issue. I could go, you know, either way on any given day, just because, you know, things don't look too great or too bad. There's just, as Taylor said, it's a case-by-case thing that people go through. And his perspective, being a divorce lawyer, is truly, truly interesting. And he's very articulate, and he just cuts straight to the facts and tells you, you know, what is his observation, having been a lawyer and having been married and divorced. It's really interesting.
I still haven't seen that. I need to check it out.
Oh, he's great. He's great.
Kelly A says he could have had some fake muscles put in. I find this super cringy. As the muscular guy. From
about
the cut
Bonko.
video.
Now, have you seen like the
Bonko.
guys that do like synthol in their arms,
Yeah,
and they
that's
just
crazy.
look absolutely nuts? Yeah, I don't think he's got like fake anything. I just think he's on roids. Just if I had to
Boy.
guess.
Verity Johnson says, I recently got married. We didn't wait for marriage, but have only ever been with each other. We also aren't really on social media. I'm so happy we ended up being with just each other.
Oh, that is beautiful. And congratulations on that. That's awesome. And he's not on social media. Green flag. We all know it's a green flag. Coming from the person who does social media.
For a living. Yeah. Alex Anteas says, Amla, you have nothing to worry about. You're only unstable if you like the 1975 band, and you automatically don't jam out to Gasolina when it plays.
Well, guess what? I'm going to see the 1975 on Monday, so how do y'all feel about that? All of those 1975 haters in the chat.
I'm not sure how I feel about a Monday concert. That's kind of
You know
a
what?
random day.
If it's the 1975, I'm up any day.
Any day of the week.
Any day of the week, baby, I'm there.
How many times have you seen him now?
This will be a fourth.
Wow.
I'm an OG. OG.
Let's see. Fresh Start says, yo, good afternoon, guys. Loving the show as always. Third super chat and third live I'm catching. Anyway, wishing you all the best. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. I hope you have a great weekend yourself, and I'm glad you're catching the lives, guys. And it seems like this is a good time for the lives. I feel like we're getting people from all across everywhere. It's a good time to be on the internet.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Alyssa Cottom says, finally caught alive. What should I do when my sister identifies as NB, non-binary? I want to be respectful, but it's hard to refer to her as something she isn't.
Ooh, I have to think about that. Okay, if my sister was doing that, I mean, if my sister said she was non-binary, I would talk to her the way that she wants to be talked to, but also just give plenty of space to just explore the ideas and to try your best to, not have pushing conversations, but just explorative conversations about why they feel the need to make this decision. Truly come to them from the perspective of trying to understand why it is that they believe the things that they believe about themselves. And I do truly believe that eventually, just through understanding and compassion, they will have to confront the ideas that they are struggling with. I think if your sibling or a family member is choosing to identify as non-binary, you can get into like the cultural issues and the back and forth and your beliefs about gender and sex and all of these different things. But I think at the heart of it is that person is hurting. In their view of themselves, in their view of their bodies, they are struggling internally. So that should be your priority. How do I reduce the burden of struggle? Am I contributing to how you're struggling right now in any way, shape, or form? And what can I do on that front? Because love and compassion, I think, dulls the pain and the incongruence that people feel more than anything else. I would lead with that. And, it's going to be different for your relationship. I don't want to give a hard and fast rule for what you should do with your sister because it's your relationship with your sister. I think you know what good times look like with your sister. You know how to access those good times. So try your best to do that.
Here. Yeah. Leading with, I love and accept you, even if we disagree on this issue. I think it's an important thing for them to not just hear, but to really feel, to know that that's where your heart is at. And that'll open up the ability to have honest conversations, once that is in place. But you don't want to lead with warring ideologies to where they can think you're rejecting me or you don't love me because of all of this. So
yeah,
that's all I'd add.
I think it's a symptom of something else. It's a symptom of something else going on.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah. Let's see. SM Kala 1 says, first time I could catch you live. Great job and love the show today. It was a lot of fun. Love hearing how you word things. You both were great.
Oh, I'm glad that you got to catch the show and that you had a good time. We were trying something new today, so it seems like you guys liked it.
Yes, indeed. 0709 B-Boy says, friendly Super Saiyan here. Amala, the queen of Earth.
That's a little bit too much high praise, guys.
You know what a Super Sapien. I'm sorry.
Oh, Super Sapien. Super Saiyan is an anime thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's from Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z.
I read that into it. It said Sapien.
Sapien, got it.
Much less cool. I'm much less cool for having read into that. Atypical Mess says, love the new show. I try to catch you every live. Funny enough, Candace was asked about pegging her husband on the whatever show.
I did see that clip on my TikTok. So, yeah, I didn't see her full response to it, but I'm sure she handled it with grace.
So there you go. The Brimes says, I'd love for you to do a long form documentary on any topic, really. Is that something you would do, hopefully, in the not so far future?
It is something that we would do. It does take a lot of footwork. So with the two of us, just Taylor and I, it is quite the feat, but it is something that we've been, it's a ball we've been kicking around, most definitely. And I do think I have a very interesting subject matter to focus on that I will not reveal on this show, but most definitely, yes.
Yeah, just give us a little time. We just started the new face of everything at the independent venture, but as we're stabilizing and getting everything rolling here, that's definitely in the cards as big projects like that. And if you guys have suggestions, hop on Discord or whatever you want to do and let us know.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Brimes, I just read that one. Laura says, watching your live for the first time while making apple pie and sugar cookies. I love your content.
Oh, that's so great.
That's so wholesome.
That's so trad wife of you. I love that.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Warms my heart.
We got a $50, Taylor.
Okay, another one. Craig Strazzeri.
Oh, man.
When are you bringing back Music Mondays? Also, I want to see Taylor sing.
You know, my nails are gone, guys. I could actually bring a Music Monday to you any time now, so that might be around the bend. For those of you who don't know Craig, shout out to Craig. Worked at PragerU with them. He was our boss. So our boss is in the is in the chat down below.
Keeping an eye
hey,
on
Craig.
us over here. Yeah.
Making sure everything remains, everything stays good.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should have made me singing on a live stream like the Fantasy Football League punishment or something, but I'm going to try to stay out of the bottom slot so I don't have to worry about anything like that. Thanks, Craig.
I'd grab my guitar if I thought it was tuned, but I don't think it's tuned at the moment. So
yeah, well, you know. Atypical Mess. By the way, Craig always was on Amala about doing more Music Mondays. He's like, you need to show your personal side more. You need to be more relatable. So still not letting it go. If you want to see Music Mondays, let us know in the chat.
Yeah.
Let's see. Atypical Mess says, I wanted to say the American dream is alive and well for us. My husband and I started a business from nothing 19 years ago and supports a very comfortable life for us and 7 full-time people.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think,
yeah,
the American dream is still alive. I do think it's shifting, and I do think in many ways it is under attack, and specifically by these like larger corporations, but it certainly still exists. Are you kidding me? Like there's so many opportunities here. I think the opportunities look different than they did before. And there's certain fronts where I do think it's like the white picket fence in the house and stuff, that vision is shifting and changing, and I think we could fix that if we banded together to fight the big bad corporations, but hopefully that happens. There's so much awareness of it now that I'm like, it has to happen. Unless the powers that be will not allow it.
Yeah, and like you said before, like that's something the left and reasonable people on the left and reasonable people on the right could unite around, is like getting rid of all these corporations and special interests and stuff like that that's ruining the American dream more than just the classic old debates that we'd have with each other about, you know, different more liberal leaning ideas versus more conservative leaning ideas. Like that's not really being allowed to happen right now because we have so much of this downward control and pressure being exerted from the powers that be. So hopefully everyone could get, maybe that's another documentary topic we could unpack for you guys.
It is.
Let's see here. Not the Spanner says, first time catching it live. Cheers from South Africa.
Cheers, South Africa.
That just goes straight to Blood Diamond and Leo DiCaprio. That's awesome.
Love that.
Caston Winter says, watching from Australia.
Ah!
And just wanted to say thank you for what you do. Since here, in my opinion, wokeism is apparent, but very much toned down and more integrated than people think.
Yeah, we love our Australians. My boyfriend's Australian, so his family was here from Sydney. That's not an Australian accent. How would you say Sydney in an Australian accent? I don't know. It's escaped me. You know when you try to do an accent like off the cuff and then your Australian is like British or your German is French or whatever? That's where I'm at right now. I'll work on my Aussie accent and bring it back for you guys because I used to do an Aussie impression on this show a long time ago when we used to start the show with different accents. So I'll bring it back with a little bit of practice. But no, I just had a bunch of Aussies, you know, hanging out with me here in Los Angeles, and it was interesting to hear about just like the difference between the two places and stuff like that. So,
and here, speaking of Australia, here's another super chat from Caston. It's a $50 one. So back to the front of the line. Says, here in Australia, there's a referendum happening. Wanted to know your opinion on it, essentially allowing ATSI, or Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander people, to basically have their own influence in Parliament. By the way, thank you for everything you do.
I don't know enough about it to give my opinion. Like, I don't know what the dynamics are between, you know, the Aboriginals and, you know, the other people in Australia. I don't know how the governance works between the two different groups of people. I would have to look into it before I tell you how I feel about that. If they're like operating separately and now have representation within Parliament, I don't know. I could see how one would make that make sense, but I could also see how this could be like an affirmative action, a preferential treatment thing going on. So I don't know. I'm not going to give an opinion. I'm going to hold off for more information.
Anna M. Lins says, "Hey, Amal and Taylor, I'm so glad I could finally get my first super chat in while you were live. My technical first super chat I put in, not realizing you guys were already offline because I forgot and paused the video."
Oh no!
We did get cut off earlier this week too. Was it Monday that like the last like 5 minutes or so got cut off? We didn't realize it. I thought we were live, but the recording of those last 5 minutes is on Spotify and wherever else. So
it's somewhere.
Did give a super chat that didn't get read at the very end of Monday's show. It's out there.
Sorry, guys.
That's a funny story, Anna.
We're constantly fighting just pieces of plastic over here in this operation.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, no, not if Craig's watching. Everything's going fine. We're not having any technical issues. This has been the super smooth transition. We're fine. I'm just kidding. One more from Alex says, "Speaking of marriage, my brother Josh just got married on Wednesday, and they were so thankful to you guys. Shout out on Monday's show. Love your theme song, by the way."
Oh, amazing. And congratulations. That is awesome.
Congrats. Hard Pass just sends a little fox emoji. That's
Thank
dancing.
you.
That's very nice of you. And Guilherme L.D. Sico says, "Hi, Amala. I'm back from Brazil. Love the new show."
Oh, thank you so much. We got Brazil, we got South Africa, we got Australia. We have all the people represented. Talking about representation, people. We got them all right here.
All of the places.
That's amazing.
That's why we like this time, because people from all over the world can tune in.
Yeah.
Across the pond and everywhere. But I think that was our last one.
All right, guys. So that is our show today. We made it long because we were late. So hopefully you enjoyed and you stuck around. Let me know if we should do more shows like this in the comments down below. And give me your thoughts on the different topics that we covered today. We watched The Button with Cody Co. We watched Does Gen Z Hate America? We also got into Candace Owens talking about OnlyFans on the Whatever podcast. So drop your thoughts on all those different subject matters. I love to hear from you guys. As always, if you disagree with me, duke it out in the comments, but do so respectfully. In fact, duke it out with each other, but do so respectfully. Can't emphasize that enough. If you like this video, like, subscribe, smash the notification bell to be notified every single time we're live. It's typically Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, unless our piece of equipment overheats. Then it's about 15 minutes after that. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic weekend. We have another video coming out tomorrow that I think you guys are going to enjoy. At least I hope you do. And, be chill. Keep it chill. Bye, guys.